Welcome to POSTCAST tonight. David Locke along with Ron Boone after the Jazz fall to the Blazers 99-92 tonight. Some really good performances. Probably a game that has a lot of characteristics to a lot of what we'll see throughout the year. The Jazz played hard. They executed far better than we've seen, and then down the stretch just didn't quite know what to do and got in a few lulls where they don't have the firepower to always stop the runs.
Yeah, without that go-to guy or that guy that you can play off of, they have to rely on good execution or just, maybe some good ball movement. But offensively, they just, couldn't get it done. Defensively, I think they had some breakdowns that cost them. But then again, Damian Lillard, who's a pretty good player, he makes plays for this basketball team, and I think he's going to enjoy playing alongside Mo Williams there as well.
Mo Williams had a big night for the Blazers. He finished with 17 off the bench, zeroing in on the Jazz. The night started with Enes Kanter hitting his first 7 shots and really dominating the game early.
Yeah, ended up 10 for 17 in 30 minutes of play. And I think he needed a game like that offensively. I don't think he tried to do too much. He took what was there. He made his mid-range jump shots on the offensive end. Defensively, I thought he played a pretty good defensive game there in the first half. Second half, I thought Lopez was playing with a little attitude there and got physical and made some things happen. But I think the coaching staff had to be very pleased with what they saw tonight and thinking, okay, we can get better here.
Jazz in the fourth quarter tonight shoot just 6 of 21. And, Ron, we talked about it on the broadcast. If you look back at last year's Jazz team, you end up with Al Jefferson taking 82 shots in the final 5 minutes of a game, Paul Millsap taking 59 shots late in the game. This doesn't even count their free throw attempts. Mo Williams, 46 shots, and Randy Foye, 22. So you combine all of those together, you get 209 shot attempts out of those 4 guys. Gordon Hayward took 33, and Alec Burks took 14. There's simply no experience on this roster on how to play the final 5 minutes of a half-court basketball game.
And, the only way they're going to get it is put them in that situation. And now they have that opportunity, and you have to have the right mindset again, David. You have to want the basketball. And you have to realize who's guarding you and what you think you can get off. Right now, Hayward is the guy that does run well, at least the guy that's going to get the last second shot, something like that. But this is a work in progress, and I think we're going to see a lot of changes during the course of the year, and hopefully we'll see some players get better though.
So much of what people have said to me, what I've relayed to our fan base is, you can't look at guys night to night. We're going to have to look at guys in 20-game stints probably. Yeah. First 20, second 20. And the preseason might be selling that story as well. Enes Kanter, pretty poor in our last 2 outings, pretty good tonight. Alec Burks, pretty good in our last few games. Tonight, 1 of 13 shooting, and really kind of you could just see it. Like it was particularly his last shot. He's wide open. He's got to take it. I mean, boy, he ever guide that baby up there. I mean, but that's what these guys, maybe how they deal with the 1 of 13s is going to be more important than how they deal with the 10 of 13s.
As a whole, yes, we can't look at it like that. You got to have a 10-game stretch, I think, for players to really evaluate them. But when you're a fan or maybe even a coach, you're looking at from game to game, and why isn't he doing this, or why isn't this happening? Those type of things. And I think with this basketball team, David, we're going to see guys like Kanter have a good night. The next night it might be Favors, and the next night it might be Gordon. But just the way this team is built right now, because they don't have that go-to guy. So I think from game to game, we're going to see some changes.
Ron, I'm really mystified on how to evaluate Gordon Hayward tonight. Early in the broadcast, I made the comment, this is a guy we're probably going to have to throw the field goal percentage out. We're going to have to look at kind of how many points he scores per shot attempt because he gets to the line, he shoots a lot of threes. When I said that, I didn't expect his shooting percentage to be below 33%. Yeah. Now, if it's below 33%, we got to look at it. So you've got Gordon going 5 of 16 tonight. He doesn't hit a 3. But he finishes with 20 points on 16 shot attempts, which is actually pretty good because he went to the line. He had 7 assists. He did turn it over a few times. If I'm just looking at this box score tonight and didn't catch the game on the radio broadcast and I'm listening to this postcast, I'm as a fan, I'm kind of lost. What do I think of that?
and to really look at Gordon's game, and I've spent a lot of time trying to see what kind of player he can be in the NBA. I think he's going to be a very, very good player, or he can be a great support player for a superstar in the league. Now, his shooting percentage, the way he plays, he's so balanced. It's going to be very important for him to shoot a great percentage from the free throw line, but I don't think he's going to shoot a great percentage from the field. Because is he a great shooter or is he a good shooter? If you're a good shooter, you're going to have nights where you're not so good, like tonight. But he does so many other things well that that draws the attention to him because he can put the ball on the floor and go to the hole. That's the reason I say that he's going to be very important for him to have a great free throw percentage this year in order to help this team.
And I don't want to bore you to death with this, but it's probably worth it noting for some of our listeners. There was some recent research that was done by Kirk Goldsberry of Grantland, very fascinating research about who really were the best shooters. And what they did, Ron, is he was able to take the general concept that every spot you took your shots on the floor compared to what the average is. I did some research building off of his. I didn't have the ability to go single shots, but I did areas. And interesting enough, Gordon came out as just a dead average shooter.
Yeah.
Al Jefferson actually came out as our best shooter last year. From the spots he shot from, he's one of the elite better shooters in the league. Gordon, from the spots he shoots at, is actually just an average shooter, to your point. So he's not, despite the fact we think of him as a 40% three-point shooter, he's just an average shooter. And so you will have some 5 of 16 nights probably.
Yeah, great way of putting it there, because he's going to have his nights where he's going to just light it up. But he's also going to have those nights when he struggles. Now, the way I evaluate a player is the types of shots that he's shooting, going left, going right. Is he more a spot-up shooter? And when he misses, how far off does he miss shots? And that tells me a lot as far as a shooter is concerned.
Final thing is we board a plane on Saturday. I don't think we suspect that 19 people are going to be on that plane, but we may be dead wrong because I don't have any idea who's making this roster and who's not, and it might have changed tonight. I mean, if you had made me make a bet, you kind of were pushing me the other day in practice, and you were trying to make me commit, and I was beating around the bush. If I had to commit, I might have committed Don McGuire to making a team that he doesn't play, and Justin Holiday was pretty nice tonight.
Yeah.
I probably would have committed not very excited to do it, but I probably would have committed to Scott Machado as a backup point guard with the injury to Trey Burke. But after tonight, I might commit to Lester Hudson.
Yeah.
So, frankly, I have no idea. Ian Clark is half a guaranteed contract. I mean, he's guaranteed for about $200,000 worth. He has not been brilliant in camp. He didn't play tonight. I don't know if that has any indication. Brian Cook didn't play tonight. Rudy Gobert will make the team. Mike Harris didn't play tonight. Brandon Rush and Marvin Williams are going to be a part of this team at some point. They definitely change the landscape of that bench. When they are ready, that bench becomes pretty solid. Right now, it's pretty weak. I got no idea what's about to happen with this roster.
If we could break down a couple of players, and we'll just go with Hudson, who we've watched in practice, and he's had moments in practice, but until you put a guy in the game to where he can, playing against an opponent for a period of time, do you really get a chance to look and see how good? You can see he has experience. He's not afraid to shoot the basketball. He had, 2 threes a night, or 3 threes or whatever. But I was impressed with his defense. He's low to the floor, he's strong, and he's a rebounding guard. I think from looking at him tonight and watching him in practice, I think he has an excellent chance of making this basketball team. Then I'm looking at the rotation of the guys that played tonight. It was like Coach Corbin was trying to get a good look at certain players, and he wanted to give them extended minutes. Now, you might be absolutely right. We might be going on the road to Oklahoma with more players than we thought we would go on.
A lot of guys have played well and earned themselves extra looks. We've got 4 games coming up in 6 nights. That's a lot of looks. On behalf of Ron, I'm David. This is POSTCAST. Make sure you listen to Utah Jazz Game Rewind. If you missed the game the other night, after every game, we give you the Jazz Game Rewind as well. It's available on iTunes at Locked On Jazz, as well as on the Jazz website at weareutahjazz.com/LockedOnJazz.